Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a very good day. So finally, it's the bookshelf tour day video. Woohoo! So I hope everyone enjoys the tour. If I seem out of breath or sweaty, it's because I just recorded it. I just finished recording it. We start off with the shelves right behind me and then work our way towards that way. I'm just gonna warn you now, things are kind of out of place, disheveled, kind of put away haphazardly. It's just how I roll here at the Readable. This is just how I do things. It's just me being extremely lazy and just kind of a slob. I'm a closet slob. Not really. Okay, anyways, so hope you guys enjoy it. What else? Oh, there were other trinkets and things in my shelves that I had before, but I took out because I needed more room to place other books. So let's just show you a couple of things that I took out from my shelves that I couldn't fit and is now sitting on my desk. So basically, these quotes I just created in Illustrator and Photoshop and I printed out. This first quote is by C.S. Lewis. "We read to know that we are not alone," which is true, relatable, and I love it so. A lot of people love this quote and I do too. I have a bunch of Harry Potter quotes on my bookshelves. One of the quotes is from the third book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good," and this is of course one of my favorite fun quotes. This is by Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prong. Love the Marauders map, it's so cool. And my other Harry Potter quote is from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and this quote was said by Albus Dumbledore. He has fantastic quotes, oh my goodness. A lot of the serious Harry Potter quotes from this dude. This one is, "It's the unknown we fear when we look upon death and darkness, nothing more." And so I thought that was a pretty powerful quote. I had this dude on my shelf. My sister and her boyfriend gave it to me as a gift. I don't think he could stay on my shoulder because they're kind of small and narrow, but yeah, so those are some of my trinkets that I kind of pulled out of my bookshelves. That's everything, guys. I hope you enjoy this tour and I will talk to you very soon. Another video coming up tomorrow. What? Alright guys, so let's get started with the bookshelf tour. So we're gonna start on the left side of my room, bottom shelf. As you can see on the bottom, we have George R.R. Martin's first two books, Game of Thrones and Clash of Kings. That is the first and second book in A Song of Ice and Fire series. The first two books are definitely readables. I like Game of Thrones much better than Clash of Kings, but still a very good read. Next, guys, on top of that is the Chaos Walking trilogy, and it is also out of order. So at the bottom we have Monsters of Men, which is the third book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. The first book, The Knife of Never Letting Go, in the middle, and The Ask and the Answer just above that. So yeah, that's the second book. Highly enjoyed this series a whole lot, guys. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. Next, guys, right on top of The Ask and the Answer is Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five, and I gave that a readable rating. It took me a while to get into the story, but once I got rolling, it was actually very good. On top of that is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I gave that a readable as well. I really liked it. It was probably my first classic that I read last year, and I was afraid I wasn't gonna love it, but I actually liked it a lot. The book right on top of that stack is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and I read that at the beginning of the year. I gave that a readable as well. I love the dystopian society, the world building. It was freaky but very realistic as well. So next we have John Green's Looking for Alaska. I gave that a readable rating. I really enjoyed that a whole lot. Definitely my favorite book, I think, out of John Green's. I really enjoyed it. The next book is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I like that as well. It was pretty intense, crazy, dramatic, all in one year for Charlie. Very excited for the movie to come out. And the next book beside that is The Agency by Y.S. Lee. This is the first book in the Mary Quinn mysteries, A Spy in the House, and I really enjoyed that book as well. Beside that is The Complete Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. This is a vintage classic edition. I love it so. It's cloth covered and I love the gold foiling, and here's my teddy bear bookmark, who is keeping my place in the book so far. I need to finish it. Next is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. I like that book as well. There were some, the plot was a bit up and down for me, but I really like the characters. Beside the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime is Stephanie Perkins' first two books, Anna and the French Kiss, as well as Lola and the Boy Next Door. I love those books a whole lot. Kind of my bar slash standard for anything cute, contemporary, realistic YA read. I haven't found anything quite like it just yet, but that's okay. That's cool. So next, guys, as you can see at the very bottom right there is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I gave that a readable rating. It was very heart-wrenching, very emotional. Did not cry, but very emotional. And above that is Rachel Cohn's and David Levithan's Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. I gave that a readable rating as well. Just very cute and sweet and funny. So definitely check it out. Definitely a Christmas slash wintry read. So above that is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I highly recommend this book if you enjoy the perks of being a wallflower. Our main character Junior reminds me a little bit of Charlie, and the circumstances and the things that happen within the plot reminds me of things that kind of happen in the perks of being a wallflower, so definitely check that out. The book above that is Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. Really enjoyed this book a whole lot. Loved Melinda's voice within this book. Is very real, very distinct, so I really like that book. And above that is John Green's An Abundance of Catherines. I feel it's kind of a summer read. There's a road trip, a short one, but it takes place during the summer months, and I thought it was very geeky, and Colin's friend Hassan is hilariously fun and cool, so check that out. Above that is Jennifer E. Smith, The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. I was kind of disappointed a little bit. It wasn't as cute and as romantic as I was hoping it to be. It kind of more had to do with the main character and her relationship with her father. So the cover and the title kind of threw me off. Above that is Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. After finishing it, the more I thought about it, the more I really liked it. I really liked the characters. I liked how the characters are not what they seem. There's a lot of character development, which is good. Above that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Love that book. I really want to reread it. It's just sweet, funny, very funny, and the writing wasn't as hard to understand as I thought it was going to be, so that was very good. Overall, just love that book. Above that is Lewis Carroll's Alice Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. That was a bit at times more harder to understand, which was on purpose. Above that is John Green's Paper Towns, which I gave that a readable rating as well. Again, very cool friendships, very down-to-earth moments, hilarity ensues. Above that is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I gave that a readable rating. Very cute road trip story, very realistic characters. Roger's very sweet. And above that is my current read, Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. Next is Lamb by Christopher Moore. I really enjoyed that book a whole lot. It was actually quite moving than I thought it was going to be. It was actually very good, so check that out. And I love the edition. I love the gold foiling, love the ribbon bookmark. Beside that is Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Next beside that is one of my favorite books, The Princess Bride by William Goldman. Gave that a readable rating because it's awesome. William Goldman, you pretty much had me throughout the rest of the story. It was hilarious. And the names, Zoo of Death, ROUS's, and Cliffs of Insanity. Beside that, guys, is Jasper Ford's Shades of Grey. Not 50 Shades of Grey or Between Shades of Grey, but Shades of Grey, and it's a dystopia adult book. I really enjoyed that book a whole lot. There's a lot of setup and backstory to the world. It really picks up very cliffhanger-ish at the end, and it was very good. I can't wait to check out the next book. And beside that is John Green's and David Levithan's Will Grayson, Will Grayson. Oh my gosh, my John Green books are everywhere. They're all over the place. And beside that, we have Georgia Twynem's The 13th series. We have the 13th, A Girl, a Number, a Destiny, and the White Spine. Beside that is the Turncoats and the Black Spine, and white kind of ends at the top. And beside that is her newest book, Niteria Rising. And right beside, just on the very end there, we have Across the Universe by Beth Revis. That is the first book in the Across the Universe series. I don't know if there's a formal title for it, but that's that. To the very right of it, we have Scott Pilgrim's graphic novels by Brian Lee O'Malley. Those are the 6 graphic novels. And above that, that horking big novel, let's pull it out. You guys know what it is. It is George R.R. Martin's A Storm of Swords. I have about a week to finish that. I can do it. Damn right I will. By the time you watch this, I'm probably going to be in the middle of it. Alright guys, next is the second shelf. At the bottom, you see my DS games. We have Harvest Moon, Pokemon White, and above that is Scribblenauts, and above that is Mario Kart DS. I love Mario Kart DS. Scribblenauts is hard. It's definitely challenging, but you know, all good fun. So to the very left, we have Made in Japan and Hello Please, which are two art books, things made in Japan. And Hello Please is a book filled with Japanese mascots because the Japanese love using mascots in their advertising. And beside that, we have my two audiobooks, Tina Fey's Bossy Pants and Jay Asher's 13 Reasons Why. I love Tina Fey's Bossy Pants. She's hilarious. 13 Reasons Why was a definitely cool experience as well. I didn't love the voice actor for Hannah Baker's character. And beside that is The Girl Who Played with Fire by Stieg Larsson. That's the second book in the Millennium Trilogy. As you could see on this shelf as well, things are kind of out of order, but we'll get to the first book. Beside The Girl Who Played with Fire, we have The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King, written by J.R.R. Tolkien. The Hobbit, love the elements, love the setting, love the fantastical nature of everything, but I wanted more. I wanted more backstory, character development, and depth, and all of that good stuff. I am looking forward to the Lord of the Rings books. By the end of this year, it will be read. I promise you this. So next, guys, is the Harry Potter series. I have the first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The second book, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The third book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. The fourth book, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The fifth book, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. The sixth book, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Seventh book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Yes. And I love these hardback illustrated editions. They are fantastic. They have the nice Harry Potter word mark at the front. And so above that is By Hand. That's a graphic design book. It's an inspirational kind of art book showing projects created by hand. So we have Quidditch Through the Ages and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. These are kind of two companion books to the Harry Potter series. I have yet to read those. I do. Beside that is Five Flavors of Dumb by Anthony John. Dawn from Titancia was very generous to have sent me that book, as well as Beastly, which is somewhere in my collection. I'm kind of in the middle of it. I started it, but I haven't finished yet, not because it was not good, just because I was reading other things at the moment, which happens. Beside that is The Duff by Cody Keplinger. I really enjoyed that book. I was actually very surprised. I really like the characters. Again, not what they seem kind of characters. Beside that is Siobhan Vivian's Not That Kind of Girl. Beside that is Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcalez. I still have to check the other two books, but it was very cute, very cheesy, very cliche-y, but still very sweet. It still had that very sweet reaction. Beside Perfect Chemistry, we have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That is by Stieg Larsson. This is the first book in the Millennium Trilogy. I gave that a readable rating. Lots of mystery, great characters, suspenseful, dramatic. The movies are awesome, both Swedish and American. Mature content, graphic content, so for those who are interested in checking it out, note that. And beside that is one of my all-time favorite geekiest books that I've ever read. It's Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I love the cover. Can I show you the cover? First we have the maze, which is fantastic, very symbolic of what happens in the book. But also we have the key! This pixelated 8-bit graphics in video games, and of course we have Pac-Man. You can't deny the Pac-Man. I hope we can see this. So overall the cover, fantastic, represented the book very well, and awesome. Beside that is my bind-up of his Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. I really enjoyed the first story, The Golden Compass. I have yet to check out the other two books, of course. It's steampunky, alternate world, adventure, epicness. Beside that we have Karen Healy's Guardian of the Dead. Above that is Julie Kagawa's The Iron King and The Iron Daughter. These are the first two books in the Iron Face series, and I like The Iron King, not so much The Iron Daughter, because of main characters craziness. Above that is Alec Flynn's Beastly. I have watched the movie. I've yet to finish the book. Above that is Anne Osterlund's Academy 7. I really like that book. It's a good science fiction YA novel. The romance is not overpowering and gross. It's actually very nice, subtle, and sweet. So definitely check that out. Above that is Burn Bright by Miranda Pierce. I still have to check that out. Marianne, thank you so much for sending it to me. And above that is 2 new additional things that are not books. Those are my Harry Potter quotes that I created. One is, of course it is happening inside your head, Harry, but why on earth should that mean that it is not real? The other one by Albus Dumbledore, it is not due to dwell on dreams and forget to live. Remember that. And I love those quotes, one of my favorite quotes. Next guys, we're on the very top shelf of the left side of my bookshelves. I have to tell you, I love shoujo manga. It's romantic, cute, girly manga, and I cannot get enough of it. I will read the same kind of characters and the same kind of plot lines and the same kind of love triangles, and I'm not sick of it. I don't know why that is. I think the graphics and the sweetness and cuteness in the graphics and imagery just enhance the experience. That's probably why. So the first series is Beauty Pop, and this is by Kyoko Arai, and this is the first 8 volumes. I don't have the complete series. I love this series. I love the main character. She's indifferent and cool and sleepy, and she's very talented as well. She's quite skilled in what she does. Very cute. Beside that is Instant Teen by Fukushima. Another cute, adorable series. So beside that, guys, is the Aran High School Host Club. I love this series, guys. I love it. If you love manga and just life, you should just read this series. It's very cute. It's about a girl who is mistaken as a boy. She's recruited to be a host member, and it's really, really funny. Beside that is my Death Note collection. Again, not the full series. Love Death Note. It's freaking psychologically distressing and scary. And beside that is my Fruits Basket manga, and again, very cute. Watch the anime, very cute. I love the ending. It's so adorable and sweet. And the last book is Sailor Moon, the first book. Those are all of my manga on the top shelf there. Okay, next guys, we're on the right side of my room, bottom bookshelf, and I'm sitting on my bed, recording this on my bed, and it moves a lot. See? Well, the tripod is doing pretty good actually. So let's start on the very far left. We have I Am Number 4 at the very bottom there by Pittacus Lore. I love the action, adventure, science fiction aspect of it. It's just the romance was too much. I thought it was just too cheesy, cornball-y. But other than that, I thought it was very good. Above that is Divergent by Veronica Roth. That is the first book in the Divergent series. I like that book. You know, I love the individual elements. This will come up in my Insurgent review as well. But I do like the individual elements, like characters and side stories. When it comes to in-the-moment things that are happening in the series, I like, but when you step back and take a look at the bigger picture, the world building and why society is the way it is, it just kind of falls apart for me, not realistic enough. We'll talk about it in Insurgent. And above that, we have Battle Royale by Koshin Takumi. I love the gory action adventure aspect. You know, the fight scenes are on point. Same with the movie. They're great. It doesn't miss a beat on that. It's just, again, I wanted more. The elements were there, but I just wanted more character development. Beside that, guys, is the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld. We have Uglies, which is the first book. Second book is Pretties. The third book is Specials. The fourth book is Extras. It's more like a companion book, I would say. This was my first YA dystopia science fiction series that I've read. I fell in love with it. I just love the technology aspect. I love the world building. You know, there are predictable moments, but I love the main character. She's flawed, but she grows. I love her growth and development throughout the series. Beside that is Bogus to Bubbly. Beside that is Generation Next, which is kind of a collection of short stories regarding females and girls. Beside that is Scott Westerfeld's Leviathan series. This is his other series. It's steampunk-ish, alternate history. I have yet to read the second and third book. I really, really want to. I do. Lots of world building, a lot of great characters and fantastical elements. Very cool. So, and there's some cool illustrations in there as well. Beside that, that purple spine, oh my gosh, is Geek Girls Unite. This is a non-fiction book. It kind of talks about geek girls. Every time I go to the bookstore, I would find that book, flip through it just to read a little bit, and I decided, hey, I want to get it because it's purple and it's geeky. But as I started reading through it, I felt I wasn't geek enough. And beside that, oh my gosh guys, I have the Hunger Games out of order. I apologize for those who like to keep their collection in order and clean, but you know, yeah. Okay, but anyways, we have the Hunger Games, exclude the Unwind. Just imagine it's not there for a moment. The first book, The Hunger Games, the second book, Catching Fire, and the third book, Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Overall, really enjoyed the series. Wasn't too fond of Mockingjay, but loved the first two. In between The Hunger Games and Catching Fire, we have Unwind by Neil Shusterman, and that's the first book in the Unwind series. Oh my gosh, guys, the second book is coming out. This was published way back when. Not way back when, but usually second books in series come out like a year or two after the first book is released, but this one took a while. I think it was unknown if he was going to write a sequel, but I'm just super excited for the second book. Love that book. You have to check it out. It's a dystopian series. It is. It's very crazy, creepy. Beside that is the Maze Runner trilogy. We have the Maze Runner, the Scorch Trials, and the Death Cure. I'm bitter, still bitter about the Death Cure. I didn't get my closure, and I think that's partly because James Dashner wrote a prequel, which probably has all the answers in it, which I'm not really tempted to read because I wanted it in the Death Cure. Anyways, that's just me. But probably eventually I might check it out once the bitterness subsides. Love the first book, The Maze Runner. The second book, I didn't love it so much, but it was pretty good. And The Death Cure was, you know, The Death Cure. And above that we have Ali Carter's Heist Society series. We have Heist Society, the first book, and Uncommon Criminals, the second book. I love the covers and the look of all these books. It's just so consistent. And Fight Club, just very overall good book. If you haven't watched the movie, fantastic foreshadowing. And beside that, the very far right, we have Eon and Iona by Alison Goodman. This is the Eon duology, and I really like the main character in those books. I have yet to read Iona, so I don't know how it's gonna go, but I heard very good reviews on it. Alright, next guys, let's continue on with the books above, placed horizontally. We have Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom, Alicia from To Read or Not to Read, graciously sent to me, as well as Kit Pearson's Looking at the Moon, which is that teal color to the very right of it. Above, Poison Studies by Maria V. Snyder, which David from DP Book Reviews gave me. Thanks guys for the books. I have yet to read them, but I've heard good things, so I have to check those out sometime. I do. Above, Tuesdays with Morrie, Party of One, The Loner's Manifesto by Annelia Rufus. It's a non-fiction book about loners and introverted people, aka me. And above that is another non-fiction book by Susan Cain. This is called Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. And again, talks about introverts. I have not read all of Quiet. Sometimes I crack it open and read parts and chapters of that book when I'm feeling particularly out of place and just weird about myself. It's a very interesting read. But anyways, continuing on with the YA books, we have Michael Grant's Gone series. The first book, Gone, the second book, Hunger, the third book, Lies, the fourth book, Plague, and the fifth book, Fear. I love this series. Degrassi meets X-Men. It's insanely over the top. Definitely you have to suspend your belief with everything that's going on. You have to unhinge what you know about reality because it's insane in the face. But looking forward to see how the last book concludes. Next guys, we have Cassandra Clare's books. We have the Mortal Instruments series, City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, and City of Fallen Angels. Overall, I find it amusing, hilarious, action-packed, adventure, just a lot of fun things. Jace, you know, he's in there. Beside that is the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Prince. I have yet to read Clockwork Prince. I enjoyed Clockwork Angel. It's a steampunk, again, urban fantasy. And lastly, guys, we have As You Wish by Jackson Pierce. Sweetly by Jackson Pierce and Sisters Red by Jackson Pierce. I enjoyed Sisters Red and Sweetly. Sweetly not so much as Sisters Red, but I enjoyed them. As You Wish, not so much. I couldn't relate to the main character. And I love the covers on all of them. It's illustrated and lovely. And above that is Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. That's the first book in the Hex Hall series. I enjoyed that book. It is cute and fun. I want to check out the next 2 books, but man, it's hard to keep up with these series. There's so many series going on. And above that is Sophie Jordan's Firelight. Do not love that book. It was just too much. Too cheesy, cornball-y. I like the dragons. Dragons are awesome. Iona does that fantastically with dragons. Same with Game of Thrones. And above that is Becca Fitzpatrick, Hush Hush. It's the first book. Again, it's one of those too much romance, not enough paranormal stuff going on. And above those are my typography quote things. And they're from Harry Potter. The one in the green is, "We are only as strong as we are united, and as weak as we are divided." I concur, Mr. Dumbledore, sir. And in red, the quote by Sirius Black. "We've all got both light and dark inside us. What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are." Next, guys, we're on the second shelf here. So on the very left there, we have Melissa Dela Cruz's Blue Bloods series, the first 3 books, Blue Bloods, Masquerade, and Revelation. I wasn't too keen on that series, didn't really get into it. And beside that is the Twilight Saga. We have Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. I'll say, guys, it's the series that got me into YA. I did like the first 3 books, not so much Breaking Dawn because it got weird. Above that is Angelology by Danielle Trussoni, and it's adult paranormal fantasy series. I don't know if it's a series. I haven't seen the second book come out, but it kind of sets up for a second book, which I would read. Lots of backstory and lots of cool fantastical elements. And above that is The Unidentified by Ray Maris. I really like the world building. I loved the whole concept of their schools and the technology that's going on, but the characters I wasn't loving so much. The premise was interesting, but the plot, how it all kind of came about, wasn't so great. So yes. And beside that is Libba Bray's Gemma Doyle trilogy, A Great and Terrible Beauty, Rebel Angels. I have yet to read the 3rd book, A Sweet Far Thing. And beside that is Libba Bray's other books, Going Bovine, which is super weird, but I loved how weird it is. As you can see on the spine, we have a cow holding a gnome, and that is significant. Beside that is Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. Definitely a summer read for sure. I have trouble liking female characters, but all of the characters in this book were fantastic and fun to read about. Beside that is Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. We have The Lightning Thief, The Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. My sister actually introduced me to the series. She actually invited me to watch the movie The Lightning Thief in theaters, and I thought from the movie it was pretty good, but she said that was totally different from the book, and I said, "What do you mean it's different? It's a book to movie adaptation. It should be the same, shouldn't it?" And it's not. No, it's so different. I don't know why they would change it, but you know, that's how it goes. Love the Greek mythology that ties everything together, just love it. Beside that is Rick Riordan's other books. I shouldn't say books, just other book. It's The Red Pyramid. It's the first book in the King Chronicles series, and I've only read the first book. I really enjoyed it when I read it last year. Lots of sassy, sarcastic characters, which is a lot of fun. Very reminiscent of Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, so that's good. Beside that is John Stevens' The Emerald Atlas. I cannot wait for the second book. I love the characters. They are so realistic and sweet and hilarious. It played like a movie in my head. It was very good. Beside that is The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. This is the first book in the Mysterious Benedict Society series. I thought it was very unique, reminded me of Roald Dahl's work, which I enjoy as well. Whimsical, quirky kind of book. Above that is The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I would give that like a 3.5. It was very slow in the beginning, but the end was fantastic, and I grew to love the main character in that book. And The Book Thief, heart-wrenching, emotional, distressing. So this is the last of the books, and above it I'll show you some DVDs I have on top. Alright, on the very far left I have I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, which I really enjoyed. Creepy as heck. Beside that is Neil Gaiman's and Terry Pratchett's Good Omens. I thought that was very good as well. Beside that is Thomas Harris's The Silence of the Lambs. Creepy and graphic. Beside that is Dust City by Robert Paul Weston. Didn't love the plot. Didn't love the characters. I was pretty indifferent to that book. Didn't love it, but didn't hate it. Beside that is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. It's definitely a quick, distressing, emotional read. Beside that is Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book. I really enjoyed that book a whole lot. It kind of reminded me of Harry Potter a little bit. A couple chapters. Beside that is The Monstermologist and the Curse of the Wendigo by Rick Yancey. Love this series. If you love gothic, horrific, graphic, stomach-churning novels, I highly recommend those two books for sure. I was shocked. Being a YA series, I was pretty surprised by how graphic some of the scenes were, so very good. Beside that is the Devouring series by Simon Holt. We have the Devouring, Solstice, and Fearscape. It embodies a lot of some cliche horror moments, but still very creepy and horrifying, so that was very good. Above that is Stephen King's The Shining, and above that is Dan Wells' I'm Not a Serial Killer. I love the twist in Dan Wells' I'm Not a Serial Killer. Wasn't expecting that twist at all. Like The Shining, definitely different from Stanley Kubrick's film. Loved both of them, really enjoyed both of them. We have Zombies vs. Unicorns, which is edited by Holly Black and Justine Larbalassier. The short stories were fantastic. I actually gave that book Team Unicorn. I thought Team Unicorns held it down for all unicorns everywhere. Above that is C.C. Humphreys' The Hunt of the Unicorn. I didn't love that book so much. I love the synopsis and it started out pretty good, but then it kind of wavered and kind of fell through towards the end. Above that is World War Z by Max Brooks. I wasn't expecting the format of the book, kind of like an interview style with different accounts with people who experience different parts of the zombie uprising. And above that is Hold Me Closer, Necromancer by Lish McBride. I gave that a readable rating. It's fun, different. Above that is Carrie Ryan's The Forest of Hands and Teeth. I didn't love the characters. I didn't love it. I really enjoyed Carrie Ryan's short story in Zombies vs. Unicorns. I really like that much more than this book. And above that is The Passage by Justin Cronin, a beast of a book. Love the beginning. The last half of the book was hard to adjust with the time shift. It threw me off. Above that is The Enemy by Charlie Higson. Above that is Peter Friend's Rampant. That's the first book in the Rampant series. I thought the characters were very good. I thought the plot direction was very good. And above that is Stephen King's The Long Walk. He actually wrote that book under his pseudonym Richard Bachman, so I gave that a readable rating as well. It was very interesting. It was definitely more character driven than plot driven once you get past the whole long walk. The ending was a bit surprising and what the hell just happened, but overall I liked the book. It was good. Next, guys, is my row of DVD/Blu-rays. Alright, so I believe this half is kind of my animated anime movies. So on the far left we have Eden of the East. This is the complete series. Beside that is Tekkon Kinkreet, and it's a very stylized Japanese animation film which I really enjoy. Beside that is The Cat Returns, Whisper of the Heart, Spirited Away, and Howl's Moving Castle. These are all done by Studio Ghibli. Love Studio Ghibli. I have to get My Neighbor Totoro, but love that movie as well. Spirited Away is definitely my go-to like favorite movie. Beside that, Anastasia. Love Anastasia. Love the songs in there. Then we have The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Mulan, Mean Girls. We have the Ice Age 2-pack. Love the first one. Didn't love the second one. We have the Community season DVDs. The first, second, and third season. Love the third season. I love the Law & Order spoof episode. And above that, can we just see, is Harry Potter's Blu-ray. I have all 8 films. Love it, love it. So beside that is Ouran High School Host Club anime DVDs. Beside that is Madoka Magica, and that's a new anime series that I watched. It's about magical girls. The animation style is so sweet and adorable, but it gets dark and twisted really early on. I was super surprised by how weird and dark it was. It's very good. So yeah, Madoka Magica. Even though it may sound very cute, it's anything but. Beside that is Princess Bride, and beside that are my 2 Blu-rays of Sherlock Season 1 and Season 2. Love it! So on the far left we have The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. I think it's my favorite in the trilogy. I just loved the Joker. I love Heath Ledger. Beside that is Summer Wars. I love that animated film. Beside that is I Love You Man with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. Beside that is 500 Days of Summer with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. Beside that is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Yes! One of my go-to Christmas movies. I love it. Come on, it's cute. It's hilarious. Beside that is Dr. Horrible's sing-along vlog with Neil Patrick Harris. Beside that is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Beside that is Ip Man 1 and 2. I love Kung Fu. Beside that is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Fantastic movie as well. Beside that is Kill Bill, the first one. Beside that is The Social Network. Really enjoyed that. Love Andrew Garfield and Jesse Eisenberg in that one. Fantastic. Beside that is Kung Fu Panda. Beside that is The Island. Beside that is 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Beside that is The Devil Wears Prada with Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep. Beside that is a mockumentary, Paper Hearts with Charlene Yee. Beside that is Shaun of the Dead. Love Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Beside that is the go-to chick flick kind of movies. It is The Wedding Planner with Jennifer Lopez and Matthew McConaughey. Oh yeah. And beside that is Lilo and Stitch. Love it. It's cute. Beside that is Star Trek. Beside that is the Big Bang season DVDs, the first, second, third, and fourth one. Beside that is The Hangover. The Day After Tomorrow. We have Firefly, which is fantastic. Love Nathan Fillion. Beside that is my two Wii games, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, and Super Mario Bros. Wii. So that's everything, guys. Hopefully this updated bookshelf tour was informative and, you know, cool. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.